Hello, everybody. Welcome to a slightly scuffed stream here in North American Tournament. We're going to have the finals winners bracket matchup here between two players who previously were teammates in the last iteration of NAT, albeit NADT. So it was a doubles tournament. They ended up making it all the way to the winners grands before losing on both that match and the bracket reset match versus Rectigon and Taquito's team. But now are facing off against each other head-to-head here in the 1v1 style tournament, and yeah, we are starting just a little bit late, but looks like we've already got bans done and out of the way, so we'll get to see just exactly what is going on here as far as the picks go. For bans, though, it's going to be that Nomad 6 and the Hidden 2 banned out by Pezz, really respecting some of the gimmick that PikaPwn can offer here. And then over on the side of PikaPwn, you're going to be banning out the DT1 and the DT4, so getting rid of the slider, control DT and that DT4, and the consistency DT1, which I think to a lot of people's dismay, you know, a lot of people do enjoy that song, but yeah, these are two players from two different nations here. Pezz, of course, from the United States, PikaPwn from Canada, but I think even both of them kind of agree that their skill sets overlap so much so that they're basically just the same person from a different country. And so I do expect this match to be quite back and forth between the two players. I think it's going to be very contested as far as all the different points, just because like they are very familiar with each other's play styles. They do know what their strengths are, they do know what their weaknesses are, and their strengths also just happen to be kind of what the other person's strengths are. So hey, we're gonna see how this one goes. We're gonna start things off very quickly here into the Lathnia map. Is going to be Udachi no Ribbon. It's the AR 9.5 version, not the ARLs. But it is heavy aim. It is very big aim. You've got cross screens galore, and so this map is just about as consistency as you can get when it comes to an aim consistency map here. You do have a couple of bursts, usually not too many, maybe like one that's like 8 notes or something, but for the most part, the difficulty of the map is the aim. And so, yeah, this is an interesting first pick here from PikaPwn. We'll see how this one plays out. I mean, like I said, I really don't know exactly how I think this is going to go for them. Just given because, like, they have teamed together through so many things. They know, like, each other so well. I think they're very good friends. And they know, like, exactly how the other person plays. And so I think for the both of them, this is also kind of going to be a little bit of a fun match here. But, you know, I was noticing in the general that Pezz is itching for a proper match, you know. Just given how many badges Pezz has, it's kind of hard to be able to get into some of, well, not even some, just a lot of tournaments here, because they do have that rank cutoff there for, like, if you are rank 1, you cannot play with the BWS. But here we go into the Nomad 1. This is PikaPwn's first pick. Starts off pretty chill, but you can tell pretty quickly how the map goes. It's a consistency jump map. The Kiais are the difficult part, though. And also a couple of sections leading into a few of the Kiais. Spacing does get quite big on the jumps, but so far to start things off, it's not going to be too big of a difficulty spike. Kind of just a jammer in general. The song is just good, but yeah, I mean, these are two top-tier players. That's going to be, I believe, the longest burst in the entire map. I'm not even joking. And so now for the rest of the map, you've got 5-note bursts, you've got like 3-note bursts. So coming into the first Ki section, this is where we could see potential for breaks, but even potential for act drops at this point. Neither player's dropped even a single 100. Just given the consistency of both these players being so high, but now we are into this section. Pezz going to be finding the first miss-aim on that triple, just slight under-aim there for that one, and so now PikaPwn already off to a pretty decent start out of the first Ki section. Is still holding on to that SS, and I think it really was just that 1x miss from Pezz here. I think there maybe was a 100 thrown into the mix as well, but now 500 combo in favor of PikaPwn. and quite a bit of a score lead, actually. We saw this map between UFO and Taquito yesterday in that losers finals matchup, and in that match, it was like dead even between the two players. They were finding breaks at about the same point. I think it came down to like 20,000 points in favor of Taquito when all is said and done. But yeah, I mean, we're going into the second KI section, and PikaPwn, this is looking like a very strong first pick so far. Big jump still, though, and Pezz going to be finding another break. Still no trades, although, as I say that, PikaPwn finally ends up dropping the first combo of their own that will get rid of the SS, but that is just a singular miss now, and 87,000 points in their favor. There's another longer burst pattern. I did actually forget about that one, but yeah, I mean, both players are faring pretty well on this. However, Pezz has just been finding a couple of unfortunate misses. I think missing it about first quarter, and now the first half of the map. The score is going to be pretty capped for Pezz at this point. So yeah, PikaPwn missed around the halfway mark, but the score cap shouldn't be as bad for them here if they are able to hold. Here's some big jumps in the map, though. They do get quite spaced here. The bursts are a little bit spaced out even more so, and now we do get into a bigger jump section right here. Do we see any breaks? Nobody going to be dropping the combo. So far, both players holding on to about dead even combo here as we make our way into the final KI section. Pezz, again, going to be finding another combo break here. And PikaPwn, I do believe, has already done enough work here to be able to hold on to the combo to be able to secure this first point. Pezz just not quite having as easy of a time on some of these jumps, and these jumps are hard. So the misses coming through from Pezz are, not unwarranted, but PikaPwn just looking a lot more comfortable here in the cross-screen aim. We'll end up finding a bunch of breaks there. I think it was just a slight misread on that pattern at the bottom of the screen with the 3 notes, but is still going to be holding on to quite a sizable lead. There is no concern about whether or not PikaPwn will be losing this point. The map is coming to a close, and 125,000 on your first pick on an aim map of all things is quite a significant score lead to be able to get here. So PikaPwn is going to find their first point with the first pick. 1x100, 8 misses. Those misses all pretty much at the very end of the map. There was one miss prior to that at around 700 to 800 combo. But still, regardless, I think Pezz also with the decent accuracy, but on a map like this, you don't expect accuracy to be dropping too much, especially for players like these. And so really just does come down to who can combo better there. And we are going to see for the first pick here from Pezz, it's going to be that DT3, which is quite a rough map in comparison to that Nomad 1. DT3, of course, being 240 BPM, and we're not messing around here. Okay, players they want to play the game. They are not practicing the maps. They are not stepping out to practice. Whereas in like yesterday's match between Taquito and UFO, every single map pick, both players utilized the full timer in order to be able to get a little bit of extra practice in to make sure that they were comfortable going into the map. But we've got some finger control here. Okay, it's a lot of finger control in the DT3 slot. It is 240 BPM, and it is almost 3 minutes of length here. It says 309, but it's actually 250 in drain time. And already in this intro section, you can tell who's more comfortable. Despite Pezz finding that break, you look over at the other side of PikaPwn, who is down at 85% accuracy. And yeah, you're comboing, but that accuracy has already given about 36,000 points in favor of Pezz just off of that. And so for PikaPwn, is really going to have to come down to maintaining a little bit better accuracy here, as well as continuing to combo. And I think for the time being, PikaPwn was going to try to lean on that combo that they had to maybe get some combo scaling as the map goes on, but PikaPwn going to be finding their break, and now the score has continued to stay on side of Pezz. As we get into the first KI section, the spacing does pick up quite a bit. Pezz going to be dropping their combo, but PikaPwn does trade quite a bit as well, now dropping down to about 83% accuracy. And yeah, just the comfortability here on this style of map is definitely more in the playground of Pezz, who we're already about halfway through the map, not even halfway through the map, and 100,000 points in favor of Pezz. PikaPwn just really not having a good time at it, and this is also a fantastic first pick here for Pezz. PikaPwn again going to be finding another break on the slider ticks there, just not quite comfortable on the slider ticks. And I do also believe that PikaPwn doesn't really enjoy maps when they are at this AR 10.5 range, which also, unfortunately, all 3 of the DTs, DT1, 2, and 3 that are available are at 10.5. So Pezz might be able to kind of abuse that fact on PikaPwn, although this map is particularly nasty just because there is so much finger control and reading in it. There's a lot of aim control as well, but yeah, Pezz is just kind of shredding this one up already. 250,000 points in their favor as we come into the final quarter of the map. 98% accuracy on Pezz. It does drop just a little bit, but like this accuracy is quite strong here for Pezz, as PikaPwn still just not having a great time at this, and that's all right. It's not your pick. You're just gonna move forward and continue with your own pick strategy here, which honestly, I mean, that Nomad 1 looked quite well for them. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see them continue down the line of just raw aim, which there are plenty more raw aim picks left to be had. And yeah, that score coming through here for Pezz, almost 400,000 points in their favor. Really, and I mean, this does kind of come into play here. I talked about it already, how these two players do just know each other so well. They know what each other are good at. They know what each other struggle with. This was definitely a struggle map for PikaPwn. Pezz recognized that, and you only have so many bans here. Actually, it was the DT1 that was also banned out with that DT4 by PikaPwn. I did forget about that. So now there is only that DT2 left available. If Pezz will want to go down that route, which I imagine Pezz will, because they are just a phenomenal mechanics player. But so is PikaPwn. To be fair, PikaPwn also just a fantastic mechanics player, but when it comes to a map like that, DT3, just really uncomfortable here, and I was not expecting this pick from PikaPwn. I do actually quite like this for them on the Nomad 4. Pezz, of course, I just mentioned it, a lot more mechanics forward, but, you know, can play a bit of everything, but I think PikaPwn has Pezz's number when it comes to the tech picks here, so this should go decently well. Let's get 200 BPM. And it is 1 minute and 45 seconds in length. It is one of the shortest maps in the pool. The only one shorter is that DT4, which is banned out. And so this map can be decided very, very quickly just off of some very early misses. The combo in the intro is going to be very important, I feel like, for these players. So being able to hold on to the combo for this one is going to matter quite a bit. I think accuracy as well, you know, there was a bit of accuracy concerns on that DT3, however, that was in the DT mod, and I do believe, actually, I'm going to go double check before I just say something. No, it was OD 9.9. I was thinking that maybe it was above OD 10, but still, with it not being AR 10.5, that is a world of a difference here, with it only being 9.8, and so I do think that this will go a lot better for PikaPwn. Also, 2 different styles of maps. That one was a lot more control forward here as we hopefully get a little abort. Thank you. Get both players in shortly. There was a bit of a timer here, a spinner as well, so not to worry. And nobody dropping accuracy on the intro. I know that could be something that happens quite a bit here. Oh goodness, going to be dropping some combo going into this section. Goodness, excuse me, had to sneeze there. PikaPwn going to be dropping a pretty big chain miss. I don't believe Pezz end up finding any breaks of their own, and now will end up trading here on some of these trickier, long, high-velocity sliders, as well as just the changing distance snap here between all of the different streams. You've got a lot of XL, decel, and it does get quite spaced on the XL parts of it, and so it is going to keep things quite even, though. About 150 combo in favor of PikaPwn for the time being as we get into another big slider section here. Again, more awkward spacing, a lot more control required here. PikaPwn going to be the first one to find the break now. Pezz continuing to be above in the accuracy by about 5%. is going to continue to hold on to that score, but now with that massive chain miss, that dropped the accuracy by quite a bit, and the score actually did flicker over towards the side of PikaPwn, who now has the advantage, but only just barely. 6,000 points in their favor. Pezz again going to be finding another break here as PikaPwn looking to try to build up just a little bit of combo, but I said it earlier, it's a shorter map. We're coming down to the final quarter of the map, so here 30,000 points is quite a bit. Bar a complete disaster here. The accuracies have evened out quite a lot now. It's only about a percentage of points here between the two players, but now on to this section. More control required. PikaPwn finally going to be trading out with Pezz, but yeah, this is just looking better and better for PikaPwn. It was looking a little rough in the intro, but now, as we get into the final bit of the map, it's 50,000 points. Pezz going to be dropping. PikaPwn also missing on that big space stream, and now we do get into the final bits of the map, and PikaPwn will be securing their second point. This one a little bit less dominant than any of the previous two picks. I think that last pick on that DT3 is it's going to be hard to see another point where it's almost 400,000 points in favor of one player anymore throughout this match. But yeah, that one being a little bit closer here than I think PikaPwn would have liked, but it was still a good pick regardless. I mean, just the comfortability wise, at least in the accuracy department, Pezz had PikaPwn's number the whole time. I don't think PikaPwn ever had higher accuracy than Pezz at any point in that map. However, accuracy only does so much if you can't really put up a little bit of extra combo here, and PikaPwn was able to hold on to that combo when it mattered. And combo is quite important in a shorter map like that one. So, hey, we are actually going to see a little switch up here for Pezz. I was just honestly expecting something like that in DT2 to just go right into here for Pezz. And yeah, PikaPwn notably also a little bit confused because PikaPwn can play this. And Pezz should know that. And so this pick is kind of a question mark for me, but not in the sense of like, oh, this is just a bad pick, but more of like, did it need to come this early on? And so we'll see here. It's going to be some hard rock aim, but also hard rock consistency. You've got a lot of spaced triples in this one, some spaced bursts as well. They go up to like 9 notes or so, but especially leading into all of the PI sections. There's a lot of awkward spaced parts here. You can already see some of the circular flow that you have in this map, which there's a lot of. Pezz going to be finding the first break here in the intro. Here's the space triples I was talking about. PikaPwn going to be dropping on the triples and then finding a chain miss on that accelerating stream pattern leading into the bridge section here. Now there's a longer stream, so neither player going to be tripped up on that. BPM not going to be too fast for them, only 215 BPM, so accuracy is looking a lot better here for the players this time around. Just slight combo advantage for Pezz, and now make that a little bit even more of a combo advantage as PikaPwn drops the combo leading into this PI section, but Pezz will trade it out. Both players do hit the space triples. Now we get into big jump section here. The spacing again just continually increasing on these burst patterns, but either player is going to be dropping so far in this PI. And still it's just a slight accuracy advantage for Pezz. The smallest margin of advantage in combo for PikaPwn right now, but jumps not tripping up either player. Nobody getting confused about the 1/3, but PikaPwn just completely misaims that note. And I mean, we are going into another hard section here, so you know, it might not be the end of the world if Pezz finds a break, but that miss does hurt a little bit for PikaPwn. That is going to give up some more score lead now, up to 30,000 points. Here's again another longer stream. It's not quite space enough to really make it difficult, but the slider jumps into that big space stream is going to take out PikaPwn, and now Pezz completely uncontested, 460 combo to their name as we make it past the halfway mark. Pezz is continuing to further this score lead, and what was kind of a question mark for I think a lot of people here, PikaPwn included, it has now kind of turned into a bit of an exclamation point. Pezz making a statement here on this Hard Rock 1 pick, although it's not over just yet. Map intensity continues to stay the same here, and Pezz just misreading that pattern. I think over-tapped the note, ended up note-locking on that. How do you note-lock on OD10? Well, hey, you saw it just there, and so that is going to finally drop the combo. Is there enough time in the map for PikaPwn to be able to bring this back? I mean, we'd have to see an FC until the very ending. Pezz would have to find a couple more misses, but that score is slowly going to be moving, and now more misses coming through from Pezz. It's 85,000 points, and is moving a lot quicker than it was previously. There is time. but it's all reliant on PikaPwn holding on to the combo. More chain breaks coming through from Pezz, and this is the opportunity that PikaPwn needed. But this is the solo section. It's at the very end of the map. Big triples there, and PikaPwn unfortunately cannot hold on to the combo as we make our way into the final section of the song here. And it's 55,000 points, and I mean, if that combo was still there for PikaPwn, Pezz finding more misses, and PikaPwn is just comboing the ending. I do actually think this point would have gone the way of PikaPwn, but yeah, just not going to be enough without that combo at the end. Unfortunately, PikaPwn cannot get the breakpoint here on Pezz's second pick, but Pezz will secure their second pick to tie things back up 2-2. No breakpoints just yet, but I mean, again, this is it's going to be another close match. I feel like that was only 50,000 points in favor of Pezz when all is said and done. So yeah, just you know, on a nice edge, the scoreline at any given moment. You know, one player could make the mistake that the other player was able to hold on to the combo, and that score can flip very quickly. But here we go into the final one slot map left available in the pool, and I was expecting PikaPwn to honestly pick both the Hard Rock one and this Hidden one at some point in this match, although Pezz picking that Hard Rock one, it did look better for Pezz when all was said and done. But yeah, PikaPwn now going into this Hidden one. And again, there's a lot of aim on this, but I think the difficult part of this map is really on the bursts. The bursts are quite separated from each other, and so you are having to snap two different bursts. It's 256 BPM, and there is a little bit of finger control and reading in this map, just the smallest amount. There's some burst patterns that are like 5-note bursts, and then that pattern repeats itself, but instead of a 5-note burst, it is now a 4-note 1/6 pattern. And so there is some variance to the map. You do have to keep on your toes here while playing it, but the intro is going to come and go here. We did already see just a very early amount of 100s come through from PikaPwn, but nothing that they can't recover from here. Still though, this has got some awkward aim, some wide angle aim as well here in the Hidden One slot, and these are the bursty patterns that I was talking about. And so we do see both players holding onto the combo through that first section. This is kind of the bridge between the solo section. Nobody dropping on that burst pattern. The aim does pick up quite a bit here very soon. We do get kind of a chill moment just now. A little bit of extra combo to build up. Pezz going to be dropping finally a few 100s, but these are the big jumps, and PikaPwn going to be the first to fall on the combo before we get into the first Ki section, and now Pezz has a little bit of runway. If they are able to hold through this Ki section, where the spacing is quite large, these are some big jumps, almost no locking on that pattern, but not able to drop the combo, so the score lead is going to continue to climb here. Some more wide angles happening. These are the bursts that we're going to see here into the jumps, and both players do manage to maintain their aim control, so nobody going to be dropping combo there, but the fact that PikaPwn had found the earlier miss is still going to be hurting their score as that continues to climb up for Pezz. We are just now reaching that 1/3 section. Again, another jump burst pattern. And nobody gonna be dropping on that. Got some more slider jumps. Still, just both players locked in on the combo. Pezz continuing forward with this full combo as we now make it to the halfway mark, but we're about to make it into the solo section soon. Actually, no, I think we get one more Ki section before the solo. So this is again gonna be another build up here. With just a little bit extra combo to squeak out. There are going to be some big jumps here leading into this Ki. Will we see another break from either player? Those were the switch-ups on the patterning that I was talking about, but nobody gets caught up on that, and both players do continue to combo as we make our way into the second part, or the second Ki of the map. Big 1-2s there, but still just not going to be a problem for either of these players. Now we get into another big jump pattern here. Could see some potential for misses, and unfortunately it's going to be on the side of PikaPwn. Finds a triple miss on that burst. Also missing right before that, just not quite able to aim their cursor properly for that. And now the pause, Pezz does see that they have the score advantage by quite a large margin already, 160,000 points continuing to climb. Here's the solo section though, and almost miss-aiming, almost under-aiming that stream. So could have given up the combo advantage. It would have made things, you know, a little bit less secure, but the fact is Pezz is still continuing to combo. PikaPwn gonna be finding some chain misses on that stream pattern, and now this is completely sealed here. Pezz will be getting the first breakpoint of the map. It's just a question of, can Pezz get the combo in the end? Some big awkward jumps here. PikaPwn continuing to find a couple of breaks, but Pezz just locked in. Nobody getting slider broken there. And now we get into the final bit of the map. There's a little bit of a pause here. Do not get complacent. This is the free combo before the build-up. Again, bigger jumps this time around. Big triangles. Nobody breaking on those. And now we make our way into the final KI section. Pezz looking to continue forward here with the full combo. Can they get it done? They do hit those big 1-2 jump patterns, but now we are going to go into the last big triple burst patterns of the map here. Some squares, not going to trip them up. Here we go. These are the jumps. The hardest parts of the map, and both players hit them, and Pezz is so locked in here. Do we get to see a full combo here on PikaPwn's pick? It's going to be on the hidden mod. Big wide angle triangles. Only PikaPwn going to be dropping. Pezz somehow able to maintain their combo here. And this is a phenomenal point from Pezz. Oh my goodness. Finally ends up dropping the combo. But not before 960,000 points is accrued for Pezz. And this is a fantastic breakpoint here for Pezz. I thought we weren't going to see any other map go that much more than the one that we saw in that DT3, where it was almost a 400,000 point difference. But that was a almost 600,000 point difference here between these two players. And so Pezz going to be winning out on PikaPwn's pick. The 1x miss, 2,100 combo, and that is just a monster of a score. And you can't even be like, oh, that was just a bad pick for PikaPwn. I'm like, no, it wasn't. No, it was not. That was a solid score from PikaPwn. 400k, quite solid. Maybe an underperformance a little bit from them, but like, you're not supposed to nearly FC that map. You're just not. But Pezz almost did, so it's like, I don't know, man. Either way, this is Pezz's pick, and Pezz knows their game plan. They know exactly what they want to pick into. And so just, again, another rapid-fire pick here on that No Mod 3. This one going to, again, be a little bit longer. It's 280 BPM, although for the most part, this is just alt. You do have some bursts, but it is a lot more control here. I think control has been, for the most part, the main storyline between pretty much almost all of the picks. So we will see how this one goes. I do think that this one has a lot more flow aim in this one, flow alt, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be misremembering, but you know, I try my best to recall. There's a lot of pools that are floating around in my head right now between many different tournaments, so it does get kind of hard, especially when I'm not keeping notes, but neither here nor there. I'll do my best to do this one. We've got the No Mod 3 Pezz off the breakpoint, first breakpoint of the match here. Now looking to consolidate on it with this No Mod 3, and yeah, this is going to be some flow. Do, of course, get a little bit of snaps going on here, but the flow is the big key, as we do see the first break coming through very early on into the map. And yeah, some decent bursts as well. Not sure if those bursts are at 280 ppm. I think they might be like 250 or something, actually, but PikaPwn just already off the bat with the accuracy. It's all off of a lot of missed aims on some of that flow patterns. They found a lot of chain misses, and Pezz still holding on to the combo. 26,000 points in like the first 30 to 40 seconds of a map that is 4 minutes long is quite a lot of score advantage in a 1v1. Patterns, though, do get quite difficult in that control section. Just going to be breaking Pezz's combo there. Not quite able to hit the start of that quad burst. PikaPwn now on the advantage with the combo, but it is going to be dropping there. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think maybe there was a slight cursor shake and just shook off of the note. But either way, the combos have equalized now for the most part. Just slight advantage towards Pezz, but still working on about a 5% accuracy advantage as well. And so that is going to continue to compile here for the score lead here as PikaPwn continues to find more misses coming out of that KI section, and Pezz is holding on to the combo. So this is already off to a great start here for Pezz to try to consolidate on the breakpoint that they were just given. But they still have a lot of map left to go here. Both players do hit those big cut stream patterns. Not going to be an issue for them, but there's still so much more control in this map. So many places where if you're just slightly not focused, you can mistap, you know, maybe finger lock a little, maybe just miss-aim one of the starts of the patterns and you just find a bunch of breaks, but neither player is going to be dropping combo here as we are about to make our way into the next KI section. We're already halfway through the map and 90,000 points in Pezz's favor. Nobody dropping combo leading into this PI section. Again, more starts and stops on these aim sections. PikaPwn going to be dropping on that burst pattern. Not quite able to maintain the combo, and again going to be falling once more. Pezz now is very uncontested on that 700 recovery combo here. 150,000 points in their favor. Again, this is already starting to get a little out of control here for PikaPwn, especially given the fact that PikaPwn hasn't really been able to put up big numbers in the combo just yet. I think their max combo so far has been about 300 to 400, somewhere around there. And Pezz already, I mean, this is going to be a pretty good score here for Pezz. Although again, finding another break here on the stop pattern there. I think just over tapping the note and gonna be dropping the combo once more, but I mean, still 200,000 points of a buffer is quite a lot to work with going into the final quarter of the map, and that accuracy gap has just continued to get larger. Actually, not really. I think it's still been just 5% at gap for the majority of this map. But yeah, PikaPwn just not able to put the combo forward here on Pezz's own pick, and this will be Pezz consolidating on the breakpoint, now leading the score 4-2. He's going to go back the way of PikaPwn, but we're going to have to see a different pick strategy here for PikaPwn because all of like the raw aim maps, they're gone. There's no more of those, so not exactly sure where PikaPwn will choose to go. Probably, I don't even know, honestly. Maybe something like the Nomad 2 could be good, which sounds like crazy, but I do know PikaPwn can play the flow Nomad style maps, just not the flow control style maps here. Or, you know, like definitely can't play this, but Pezz just a lot more comfortable here. This is again just another great read from Pezz. Just understanding, you know, how what PikaPwn's strong at and what they are weaker at than what Pezz is. So, hey, we're just going to continue down the line of rapid fire picks here. We don't really have any time to deliberate on what we think they might go into, and it's going to go back into that hidden mod for PikaPwn. That hidden one almost could have been good for PikaPwn, but Pezz kind of pulling out that near FC on that did not really go the way that PikaPwn was expecting. However, this one is it's a lot more bursty than that hidden one was. It's also a little bit more technical, which I do think PikaPwn should have the slight advantage over. So we will get to see some more prowess here on that skill set. But also it's at 220 BPM. And I know it says 4 minutes and 25 drain time on that length, but I think it's a lot less than that. Yeah, it's almost a full minute shorter than that because you are cutting out the intro of the map, which is like 55 seconds. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds of or 3 minutes 30 seconds, excuse me, of map to be played. And for the first time in this entire match, actually, despite the rapid fire pick, we do see players stepping out of the lobby to go practice a bit of the map. Really just making sure that they are not going to forget about maybe a specific pattern or not get tripped up by the variance in this song, because there is quite a lot of different rhythms that you do have to be able to tap. It goes from like 5-note bursts to 4-note bursts, some 6-note bursts. I mean, the number does change quite a bit, and so you know, that shouldn't be too big of an issue for them. But still, always nice to make sure that you are as prepared for a map as possible, especially when it's your opponent's pick. Yeah, we don't really get any build-up in this map because the intro's gone. It's like a full minute of build-up for that, and we've cut that away. So here we are into this map, and you can already tell what's going on here. A lot of more unconventional low patterns in the tech. It's a lot of mech tech. Honestly, more than anything else, it's mech tech, but you do have some sliders. You do have to pay attention to the slider ticks, make sure that you don't drop the combo, but so far, neither player going to be dropping any combo. in this intro section. It jumps there, but still both players holding on. Are going to get into the first bigger stream. Again, both players holding on to the combo, so for the time being, this is a pretty solid start for Pezz and PikaPwn. Just slightly better accuracy for Pezz, a little bit less of the 100s dropped from them, but I mean, this is going to be very dead even in the scoreline, but now PikaPwn going to be dropping the combo on that first Buzz slider. Very unfortunate spot to miss. Pezz continuing to hold on to the combo, and now, again, this is Pezz's chance to start to build up a little bit of a barrier here. It does almost miss aim that burst pattern, but PikaPwn going to be dropping on that slider stream. Pezz finally ends up dropping that full combo. Here's, again, another bigger space part, and Pezz will get the breaks there. That is going to be a chain miss from Pezz, so now it is just a slight combo advantage for PikaPwn, but that chain miss from Pezz did drop the accuracy down, so PikaPwn has the accuracy advantage. It's not by much. Actually, now it's not at all, because they have the exact same miss/100 count, what have you. So we are dead even on that. So it really is just combo advantage now for PikaPwn as we make our way past that first halfway mark. Map is about to pick back up here. Intensity does pick up quite a bit in this section. Big spacing on that pattern, but nobody going to be tripped up by it. Now we're making our way into more of these burst sections here. Again, some longer streams in this map. You really have to be on your toes and make sure your stamina is intact for this one. And both players do look pretty solid on the figure control of this map, and still no misses just yet. I thought maybe somebody might miss on that Buzz slider section, but players locked in here. Oh my goodness, the shakes coming through from both sides, but nobody is going to be dropping combo, and it is 36,000 points in favor of Pezz now with the miss from Pezz. That is the first drop in this KI section. PikaPwn has a chance here, but has to hit this pattern. Oh my gosh, and we do hold on to the nerves there to be able to hold through that section with the combo. That score is shifting quite slowly, but it is going to slowly make its way over towards PikaPwn. 8,000 points and continuing to go. Is it going to flip over? PikaPwn has to continue to hold. Pezz finds another break, and now that score flips over. It's a big chain miss from Pezz. PikaPwn going to be dropping combo into this final stream section. That's a huge chain miss from both players, but more on the side of Pezz. PikaPwn again trading out, and it's just massive trades back and forth here, but PikaPwn has built up a better accuracy advantage because Pezz has been finding more chain misses, and the combo is slightly more in favor of PikaPwn, and we are going to make it into the cooldown section of the map. PikaPwn missing right at the tail end of that. I don't think there's enough time, although maybe with those chain misses coming through from PikaPwn, it's going to be a little bit of a nail biter here coming into the end. Pezz going to be trading out though, and I think that is going to keep things from getting over towards the side of Pezz. Is a very unfortunate. No, that was a banter break. Hold on. It's 200 combo, but the map is over. And there's no outro to be had here. There's also like 45 seconds of outro that was cut out. So now that was a very, very scary pick from PikaPwn, but they do get the point by the end of the map, and so that is what matters. Although you are still down that break point, but what an incredibly close map that was here for PikaPwn. To be able to get that point by about 25,000 points. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I really do hope that they maybe start taking a little bit more time with their picks here. It looks like we are going to get a little time to deliberate. Just kidding, it's hard earth very. I'm going to give my voice just a moment to relax here, because this has been non-stop action for these two players, and it's hard to do non-stop action when you are solo casting. It's gonna be a problem. Don't actually know if we got to see this in that Taquito UFO matchup. Should probably go pull up that MP link to see if that was played. I don't believe it was. This is going to be 103 BPM. Of course, you doubled that. It's like 206. But this is the standard precision map. You do have the hyper precision in that Hard Rock 2 being CS 7.8, but this one is 6.5. So just that CS5, and then you apply Hard Rock to it. Also, this song is just a banger, man. I haven't heard this song since I was like a teen. I don't know. Actually, when did this come out? I have no clue. I'm not even gonna look it up. I'm old. All right, we'll just put it that way. I'm kind of old. But yeah, looks like both players again going to be back in the lobby. We're gonna get things underway very shortly here. see what this map is all about. Hard Rock 3, this is Pezz's pick. PikaPwn's still down that break point. But this could be good potential to be able to bring back a breakpoint of their own, although I don't know. It's going to be rough here. I feel like Pezz definitely a little bit more favored when it comes to Hard Rock. It looks like we've got some slider aim here on the precision 6.5 circle size. So again, accuracy going to be pretty crucial on this one. A lot of room to drop on the slider ends. So far, both players doing good to hold on to the combos. PikaPwn going to be dropping a lot more accuracy, but as long as the combo maintains, it's not going to make too big of a difference here. Making our way into the first KI section, you see a lot of these big vertical movement sliders. Actually, just vertical movement sliders there. Nobody going to get tripped up on those. So we do continue through that KI with all the combos intact. But all of the in-betweens of the KIs are still very easy to just miss-aim one slider and you end up slider breaking. So still have to stay on your feet here. It's like still just better accuracy for Pezz, as has been the case for the majority of this match. As we make our way into the next KI section, gonna be more big slider aim here on this one. We've got the little chill section before it, before the big slider section. Here we go. Pezz going to be finding the first break, despite having that combo advantage and the accuracy, or excuse me, despite having the accuracy advantage, that combo advantage now is going to be on the side of PikaPwn, who is continuing to combo through that section. And this is what I was saying. It's a good potential for a break here from, or break point for PikaPwn, but they are going to be finding the break on this little breakdown section. Now we get into some wider angle jumps. Pezz going to be finding a lot more misses here. PikaPwn continuing to hold on to the combo, doesn't quite make it all the way through that section with the combo, but still 30,000 points in their favor. It's going to slowly move back the way of Pezz. The accuracy still in their favor here, and slight combo advantage for Pezz. It's the final quarter of the map. So long as nothing bad happens, it will continue to go the direction of Pezz, but it's going to be very slow here. It's going to be a neck and neck fight when it comes to the very end of the map. The final little build up into the last KI section. You have to hold on to the combos. Here we go. This time, it's not all vertical movement. It's kind of all over the place, and the sliders do not get any easier. Nobody's going to be dropping just yet. It's 14,000 points in favor of PikaPwn still. Pezz going to be finding the first miss in this section. PikaPwn has the chance to pull this one away here. 25,000 points continuing to climb. Does find a miss, but it's straight out by Pezz now as we come into the final bit of the map. PikaPwn again going to be dropping combo. It's so hard to hold on to the combo. 18,000 points is moving towards the way of Pezz. Any more misses from PikaPwn could spell disaster. There's a miss. It's 10,000, 9,300 points when all is said and done, but it's not enough. And Pezz is not going to be able to get their own pick here. PikaPwn answers back with a breakpoint of their own, and we are back to a tied match, ladies and gentlemen. What incredible matches we have had so far in the final stage this week. And if you didn't already have a chance to catch that previous match that happened yesterday between Taquito and UFO, that was in the losers bracket, highly recommend you go back and watch that VOD, because it was such a crazy performance of skill from both the players. But this match is gonna be nothing less of that either. So now just a couple of break points in this match so far, one each for both players, but we are evened back out. So we will see how this one goes down as we turn the volume down to hopefully not get maybe VOD muted, although it probably is already been muted. But hey, we are going into that no mod 5. It's going to be, I believe, some tapping here. Yeah, 268 BPM, Ireland's new national anthem. You're welcome. Thanks, Shoebill. This is just shred. This is like speed shred. And yeah, if you're familiar with shred at all, It's just a lot of shorter bursts. You know, nothing that really gets into the realm of like streams that are like 16 plus notes, but a lot of bursts. And so your burst stamina is what is going to be tested here. So despite being 268 BPM, it's actually a little bit more accessible, especially to specifically PikaPwn here, who I do think does quite a bit better when it comes to burst stamina over their longer style of stamina, like in longer streams. But you know, regardless, I do expect this one to be very close here. It's still hard to say which player will come out on top just off of feels here, just because they're so both incredibly evenly matched. Yeah, like we've seen some pretty dominant scores, mostly on the side of Pezz on a couple of the picks, but like these are two players who are quite good at the game, and they are also quite good at a lot of the similar skill sets. So this one has potential for another breakpoint here, but we'll see. We're already going to get into this map, and it's not all just the bursts. Of course, being in this SR range is going to be a lot of aim as well, and not super conventional aim on top of that. So a lot of things being tested here, but for the time being, slight accuracy advantage in favor of PikaPwn. Making our way through this intro section. None of the pentagon patterns going to be tripping up any player as we make our way into the first PI section. Not too many big bursts thus far, but it's a lot of control on the aim. Nobody's going to be tripped up on those patterns, so it's very dead even in the scoreline right now. I'm going to be dropping a couple of 100s, but no misses just yet. Goodness, this is so close here between these two players. It's just 2,000 points separating them, and does anybody miss on that pattern? No, but PikaPwn will drop a few 100s. That was very crucial that both players held on to the combo there, but now that score is slightly shifted over to the side of Pezz for the time being. Just a very marginal accuracy advantage for Pezz now. You're halfway through the map. Missing here would be pretty bad for your overall score. It would get capped quite a lot, but it's a trade from both players, and more misses going to be coming through from Pezz now. But I think initially the more misses were on the side of PikaPwn, so it's just a slight advantage towards PikaPwn for the time being. Still an accuracy lead by about 0.2% in favor of Pezz, but we are going to come into the last third of the map now, and it is just dead even as trades back and forth again from both of these players. So neither player going to be taking advantage of any of the misses on the other side. Accuracy down to 97% for both players, and we are completely evened out on the accuracy. And now, again, oh my gosh, I thought that was a trade from both players, but no, it's actually just PikaPwn going to be finding the break. No trades to be seen yet on Pezz, who now is starting to build up just the smallest amount of lead. It's only 13,000 points, but that's the most that we've seen in this entire map so far here. Big triangle jumps, PikaPwn going to be dropping their combo. Pezz holding on through that pattern. Nobody getting tripped up on the solar slider with the slider ticks, so that is good to be able to hold on to the combo here. Pezz looking pretty solid on their own pick right now. Or no, this is PikaPwn's pick. Hold on. Wait, this is going to be another breakpoint here for Pezz, who has continued to hold on to the combo here in the final section of the map. And PikaPwn just not quite able to put up the combo when Pezz was. Nobody was really able to capitalize on the misses that were coming through because they all just kept getting traded until the very end of the map, where PikaPwn made just a couple of mistakes and Pezz was finally able to hold on to the combo. And so that will be a third breakpoint here in this match. And that is also going to be Pezz rapid firing the DT2 before the ref can even put the score line in the chat. And so this is going to be probably pretty rough here for PikaPwn, I would imagine. A little bit worried, especially considering how that DT3 went for PikaPwn, and how comfortable Pezz looked on it. But, I mean, we'll get to see here. Pezz now one map away from that match point, so they do need to win just one more map in order to get to match point. PikaPwn, they are now down that break point here. And so it is do or die for PikaPwn if they want to be able to try to get themselves to that tiebreaker. Getting a breakpoint on this pick would be preferential, although it's going to be a bit harder to do than it is to say. As we do await Pezz to come back into the lobby here for their 10th pick in this match. It's going to be the 5th pick for Pezz. Yeah, just such an incredibly back and forth match so far. GLHS coming out now, all the players in the lobby. It's a bit of a longer DT map, actually. I believe it's about 3 minutes in length. Yeah, gonna be 2 minutes, 50 seconds in drain time, so just about 3 minutes. Still, though, AR 10.5. And, definitely a difficult map to boot. So hopefully things go a little bit better here for PikaPwn on this DT2 than it did on that DT3. At the very least, accuracy-wise, I'm hoping to see a bit of an improvement here since the match has moved on. Maybe a little bit of the nerves have gone away here, but we'll see. It's just a little bit of build-up before we get into the actual speed of the map. So far, slight accuracy advantage in Pezz's favor. Here we go. Into the tapping section. And the first longer burst is going to take the victim of PikaPwn, who also ends up dropping accuracy quite a bit. And yeah, this is not a great start here for PikaPwn. Pezz, I think, holding on to this pick for as long as he did, it was kind of a really smart move, because you allow PikaPwn to try to pick their own things, which, again, they are quite even in skill, but Pezz going to be dropping the combo, so, it's not over just yet, but, I mean, 80% accuracy to that 97% here for Pezz is quite bad, especially considering PikaPwn is just not having a good time here in this AR 10.5 on this speed pick in the DT2 slot. So Pezz, I mean, this is just such a strong pick, and yeah, leaving it open for as long as they did was a great decision to do, especially now that you had that breakpoint you just got off of PikaPwn's previous pick, and able to consolidate on that breakpoint is everything, and with a pick like this, Pezz is looking primed to consolidate on that point absolutely here. 96.5% accuracy as we make our way into the final third of the map. PikaPwn continuing to not be able to find combo, and yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a Pezz point. Unless, like... No, I mean, I don't even think there's an unless. PikaPwn's down at 50,000 points here as we make our way into the final quarter of the map, and yeah, this is Pezz looking quite dominant once more in the DT pool. Still holding on to the combo, coming into the final bit of the map. Point already secured. It's just a matter of how far can he push this score. We make our way past that 400,000 point differential here now. And yeah, PikaPwn, unfortunately, just not a great time here. But it's going to be all right. Maybe, potentially. I mean, this does mean that Pezz is finding that match point first in this match, so we're gonna see the big combo in the end, and yeah, Pezz closes out the combo. It's not the full combo, but quite a hefty recovery here. Just a couple of slider breaks very early on into the map. Into the map before recovering about 1200 combo and just a lot better accuracy. PikaPwn, I mean, credit where credit's due. They did try their best. It's not like they gave up at any point. They were still trying to tap, but the map was just pretty brutal for them. So now PikaPwn's got some tough decisions to make, because this is going to be their final pick, no matter what. Even if they win this point, it is the last pick of the match would still be Pezz's pick. So PikaPwn has to decide what their best map can be out of the maps remaining to them. So it is between that Nomad 2, and that Hard Rock 2, and the Hard Rock 4 here. Those are the only 3 maps available in the pool to be able to pick into. Everything else has either been picked already or banned. Oh, excuse me. Also the Hidden 4. I didn't even see the Hidden 4. Excuse me. At Pezz, would you rather play Nomad 2 or Hidden 4? Pezz says, I'm a Hidden player, so... And PikaPwn picks Hidden 4. We've got Magic Hats, some tech on this one if I remember. Or excuse me, that's the hard hardcore. Hey, my bad. Snake Stick. Although still going to be tech, but this one's a lot more of that slider vomit kind of a tech map here. It's a Calicube P1 Twist collab on this one. Halloween's map set. But yeah, just a lot of big, uncomfortable sliders with the hidden mod. Minute 50 in length. So this is, again, going to be a short map. Combo is key. Last time we saw a short map played, it was on that No Mod 4, which did just barely go in over the direction of PikaPwn, if I'm not mistaken here. I'm actually just going to pull up the MP link just so I'm not talking out of my ass. Just coming out. Looks like we're going to get underway very shortly with the final pick from PikaPwn. And yeah, PikaPwn did barely get that point on the No Mod 4. It was by about 30,000 points or so. 40,000 points, excuse me. 39k. So now on the hidden mod. Here we go. And gonna be a shorter map, so combo really important here. Actually, is this the map that I am remembering it as? This might be a little bit more control left in the pool. And it does appear to be so. I do believe I am misremembering this map. Not everything that I thought it was going to be, but already just a couple of early 100s dropped on the side of Pezz. I'm still on that SS, but that is going to finally drop with that 1x100 for the time being, but slight advantage over the side of PikaPwn. And yeah, this is just a control map. Still though, it's going to be slider control, but just not the conventional kind of slider control. You've got the aim mixed into that, and PikaPwn going to be finding the first slider break. No trades from Pezz on the back and forth wiggles, though, is going to be Pezz dropping the combo, and so now it's evened out just a little bit here, but it's halfway through the map already. Better accuracy for PikaPwn, better combo, but not with that miss coming through from PikaPwn. Hold on, Pezz nowhere have they traded just yet. Now 40,000 points is not a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, we're coming into the final quarter of the map very shortly here, so that miss does have to come very soon for Pezz, and they do miss on the back and forth wiggles, but PikaPwn also misses, and this is really bad for PikaPwn here. 80,000 points in favor of Pezz as PikaPwn finds another break on the sliders. Pezz will trade it out. Nope, just kidding. That was Bancho, and PikaPwn is going to find a real miss here. Again on the wiggles. Pezz again going to be Bancho breaking, and so now I do believe that the point has already been secured for Pezz. Unfortunately, this pick will not go the way of PikaPwn. We will not be getting to see another map in this pool, and Pezz will close out the final pick of the match with the breakpoint to secure the victory 7-4, moving onwards into the winners grand finals stage of the bracket. So congratulations to Pezz. PikaPwn gave it their all, but just kind of fell short on a couple of the maps and really got abused on a few others. And so we'll just be dropping down to the losers bracket for the first time in this tournament. To face against the winner of, we do not know yet. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll know the two people who are playing. It's going to be the winner of the losers bracket matchup of Taquito and JP. You're cute. That matchup will be happening at 30 UTC tonight, so 30 UTC Monday. So just a Sunday night matchup. That is the quick math: 8:30 p.m. EST, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. You can figure out your time zone, but yeah. Either way, congratulations, Pezz, for moving onward into the winners grands bracket. PikaPwn, again, just dropping down to that losers grands, awaiting the winner of the next match. But that's going to do it for us for now. Again, match at 8:30 is going to be the next one, so that's in about 3 hours. So thanks so much, everybody, for watching, and take care. Do come back around for that last match of this weekend.